Now that I'm done with that, and I have this tool over here, a dodge tool. And if I click and hold on it, I have a dodge, a burn, and a sponge. We're going to be using dodge and burn. So the easiest way to explain dodge is that if you have a piece of paper and you've got a photo paper here, and you've got an enlarger and it's shining light on it. When it shines light on it, the paper, if you have so much light, it will come out very, very dark. So what if you have an area that you want to dodge the light? So what I used to do is cut out a little piece of cardboard and tape a little piece of wire to it, and I would hold it over the paper, and I would do like this and shake it like this, and I would dodge an area if it was overexposed to keep it from going too dark. The same rule applies if you're burning. So that same piece of cardboard I engineered to have a little hole in the middle, and I would have a piece of tape over that hole when I wanted to dodge, and then I would open it up when I would want to burn an area, meaning that I would want to shine more light on it. So if it was too light, I would put a little bit more light from the enlarger on it, would go onto the paper and make it darker. It would expose it more. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I think I want to burn first because there's some shadow areas back here that I would like to address. And you can see that it gives me a tool, and I just want you to watch the tool for a second. See how it's getting bigger? All I'm doing is clicking on the right bracket on my keyboard to make that tool.
What do you mean the right bracket?
But there, if you look at your keyboard and you look at the top row where it says QWERTYU and then P, oh yeah, at the top of the keyboard, next to the letter P, you will see a bracket, and it's a left bracket. It's going that way. So when you click on the right bracket, it makes the brush bigger or the tool bigger. When you click on the left one, it makes it smaller. The other thing is, look up here, right up here. You have a menu that gives you options. You can work on your shadows, your midtones, or your highlights. I like to stick with my midtones because I tend to go heavy in the dark. So I'm keeping it midtone so it won't let me go too dark. The exposure at the default is 50%. Here's another little trick. Focus on this number and watch. See, it just changed to 40. That's because I went to my keyboard and I clicked on the number 4. Watch what happens when I click on the number 0. It goes to 100%. So you can adjust the exposure just by clicking on one of those numbers. And I went back to 50 because I do like the 50. This is an airbrush. An airbrush is a great tool to use if you want to have a concentration in the middle and then you want it to fade out. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to unclick that for right now. So I'm going to click on it. Okay, now I'm going to go down here into this area with my burn tool, and I want to make it a little darker. But let me just show you real quick. See that? See how it makes it darker? Okay. And you see how when I press on it, it gets darker in the middle and lighter on the edge. So that's what it's going to do. Just going to Command Z or Control Z. And I'm going to go to my zoom tool and just tap on this area. This is where I want to work. So initially I'm going to go in close and I'm going to start gently. Look how I'm sort of making a circular motion. And I'm just very, very gently, and you can see it's already getting darker. So I want to put a little bit darker closer to the horizon. Things are going to get darker, closer to the edges of the bottle. It's going to get a little darker. I don't want to get too dark around the handle because the handle has a strong shadow on it. Now I'm going to zoom out. So I'm going to Command minus. Now I'm going to make the brush a little bigger. I'm going to start from the bottom and I'm going to go up, and I'm just going to blend out this shadow till it just kind of blends with the background. Just a little blending. I'm going to make it a little bigger because I don't want it to be streaky. So having the shortcuts and knowing the shortcuts is pretty nice So went a little bit darker here. Look at all the burn tools that are showing up in the history. And then I'm going to go a little darker here. So I'm just evening out, and notice how I'm sort of creating a little bit of a diagonal sweep up toward the corner. You don't want to just have it going straight across. It'll look too uniform. All right, so let's check our history. I'm going to Command 0 to go back to the normal size. I'm going to go to Make Layer. That's what it looked like originally, and that's what it looks like now. Which one do you like better?
Sorry, I'm here. I was trying to figure out how to blend things out.
Oh, blending has a lot to do with how much pressure you're using. So if you want to go dark, you're going to push a little harder. If you want it to be light, you lift up a little bit. But you can also go lighter by changing the numbers. So if 50% is too dark, then you hit 3 and it'll be 30%. So now let's dodge a little bit. So dodge means it's going to get lighter. And I'm mainly concerned about my little cup here. Zoom in. I'm going to keep my numbers. Now here I have resize. Oops, I'm sorry. Let me go back to the dodge. I also have exposure, midtones, airbrush, but I have a tiny brush. So I'm making it even tinier, and I'm going to come in here, and now I can put in my little bit of sparkle. All right, so I'm going to go back to the normal size, and now look at that glass. So let's take a look at it, what it was before. And you can keep flipping back to the original to see where the highlights are, if you've lost them and you need to add them back in. And then where it is now. So you can do that everywhere.
Professor, how do you add the original as a tab?
As a tab?
Yeah, like what you have right now.
Oh,
so I can keep going back to it.
Okay. So let's see what was here. So if I go to, how do I add it as a tab? The way to do that is to save it as. So if I take this one and I go to File, Save As, and I name it Brew Bottles Repair or Correction, and save it like that. Then when I open up the original, this is now a different file. Does that make sense?
I think it's doing it. Thank you.